Thanks for staying with us on The Full View. Eswatini opposition parties and civic organizations have marched to the United States Embassy in Pretoria to deliver a petition. The pro-democracy activists want the United States to denounce Africa's last absolute monarch and withdraw financial support. Eswatini has experienced civil and political unrest this year. Let's get more on this. I'm joined by Sibusiso Siyaya. He's the spokesperson for the People's United Democratic Movement. Very good evening to you. Thanks so much for your time on SABC News this evening. So you want the United States to stop supporting Eswatini. What type of support does the Kingdom of Eswatini currently receive from the United States?
Okay, thank you so much, Nzinga, for this interview, and I would greet all viewers who are listening and watching to us right now. Firstly, we would say we have been working with as a nation, as a country, with the U.S. Embassy in many ways. There are many organizations within the Kingdom of Swaziland which are from and sponsored by the USA in terms of social and economically contributing into the lives on upliftment of the lives of the people of Swaziland. However, we must also highlight that all these organizations and efforts that have been made by the USA and some other countries and international bodies have always been downplayed by the political crisis the Ngundla system has subjected us to.
Do you feel that the international community has been supportive in the call for the democratization in Eswatini?
To a certain extent, we do feel and they have been supportive. However, though, we must not act blind on the fact that the support has not been to the extent you would expect, primarily because most of the issues that are being, in fact, all of these issues that are being advocated by Swazis in their country are specifically around the issues of human rights, primarily democracy, which are standards of these international bodies, including the U.S. Embassy, the United Nations, in terms of their collaboration with all other countries. It becomes very shocking then when it becomes a standard of principle on paper or theoretically, but however you find that some of these issues on the ground and literally they are not being taken seriously, particularly bringing the countries that do not adhere to these standards to account, countries like Swaziland.
Just describe and give us more context into what Eswatini has looked like in the last few months, what takes place, what's happening on the ground as you described it.
We can summarize it as political unrest. However, though, to put it on detail, we have experienced a lot of killings. Over 70 lives have been lost in Swaziland. We have seen political arrest. Over 700 Swazis have endured and experienced political arrest, which somehow are unlawful. Members of parliament that have been elected into parliament to represent the people have also been unlawfully arrested, while another parliamentarian has also been forced to exile. Amongst other issues is the issues of consistent unrest on the ground through protests, through burning of infrastructures from all sectors and areas of this country, where the citizens have been experiencing and expressing their discontent in terms of how they are governed. So some of our Swazis have been now permanently disabled and they have been amputed in this process of the royal order, which was issued by the king, which is to kill and shoot to kill to try and maintain peace. Since Emaswati are calling now for a multi-party democracy, which is a total overhaul of the Ngundla system.
Tell me, how did the U.S. Embassy respond to today's march?
Okay, we must appreciate a lot to the U.S. Embassy about today specifically, because as we were going to the protest, they received our petition. The ambassador received our petition. For us, the protesters, it was a peaceful protest. However, though, as much as we expressed the way in which the hospitality we received at the U.S. Embassy, it was then counteracted by the military forces and the military army of the state, whereby it then shot one of the protesters when it was time for them to go back to their home just right next to the parliament. And there were also intimidation to say people must now disperse, whilst others were blocked to come to the protest.
Right. Sibusiso Siyaya, who's the spokesperson for the People's United Democratic Movement in Eswatini, thanks so much for your time on SABC News.